Hey everyone, I'm back with another update. In this episode, I'll cover Brown University updates, the Epstein Files release, retaliation against ISIS in Syria, Marco Rubio's press conference, and Trump's rally in North Carolina. Of course, I'll end with the noteworthy tidbits. It was confirmed that the tipster who blew the Brown University shooting case wide open is a homeless man named John who called the tip line and flagged his own Reddit post, which is a video of him walking very close to the shooter. He asked the gunman why he was circling the block, tracked him, and recorded his vehicle information. It's been revealed that the tipster lived in the basement of the building where the shooting took place, and clearly the building was completely insecure. No cameras, no keycard access, no security guard. The shooter had reportedly been in the area for 2 weeks and was going in and out of the building that day, yet the university president claims video wouldn't have helped find the suspect. As for the tipster, he may still receive that $50,000 reward from the FBI. On to the Epstein Files release. The Trump administration released several 100,000 Epstein files, with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche saying more documents will come in the next couple of weeks. You can view these files for yourself if you'd like at justice.gov/Epstein, but as you've probably heard by now, an insane amount of the files have been redacted. People have now nicknamed these files the Bill Clinton files, as he's in quite a few damning photos with unknown women, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey Epstein. Since the women's faces have been redacted from the photos, and under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the Department of Justice was specifically instructed only to redact the faces of victims and/or minors, one would reasonably assume the women in these photos are victims of Bill Clinton. Neither Bill nor Hillary Clinton have commented on this, and I'm not going to hold my breath that anything will happen to them, since powerful people are never held accountable. Let's switch to the retaliation against ISIS in Syria. On the 19th, President Trump announced the United States is inflicting very serious retaliation on the murderous terrorists responsible for the deaths of 3 Americans, 2 soldiers, and an interpreter in Syria. Trump said that we will strongly strike against ISIS strongholds in Syria and that the Syrian government supports this. Later that day, War Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed massive U.S. strikes in Syria on Islamic terrorists under Operation Hawkeye Strike, saying, "This is not the beginning of a war, it is a declaration of vengeance," and, "We hunted and we killed our enemies, lots of them, and we will continue." The Department of War struck over 70 ISIS targets, achieving revenge for the ambush of our troops. Shifting to Marco Rubio's press conference. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivered an end-of-year press conference at the State Department in Washington, D.C., serving as a wrap-up of U.S. foreign policy priorities under President Trump's administration. Rubio emphasized implementing the president's agenda, strengthening American global influence, and addressing geopolitical challenges head-on. Rubio's comments touched on multiple global hotspots, blending prepared statements with responses to pressing questions. The main topics included Venezuela and the Maduro regime, the Russia-Ukraine war, the Gaza peace deal, the Sudan civil war, and U.S. foreign policy mandates. I feel as though I've covered these topics well in past episodes, so I'm not going to go into all of this, but the Sudan civil war is something new. Regarding that situation, Rubio stated the immediate U.S. goal is a cessation of hostilities into 2026 to enable humanitarian aid delivery, and he noted diplomatic engagement with all conflict parties to leverage ceasefires. On the topic of NGOs, Rubio confirmed he is ending the NGO foreign aid industrial complex, explaining, "Foreign aid should be used for the purpose of furthering the national interest. That doesn't mean we don't care about human rights. That doesn't mean we don't care about starvation. That doesn't mean we don't care about hunger. That doesn't mean we don't care about humanitarian need. What it does mean, however, is that even foreign aid, which is not charity, it is an act of the U.S. taxpayer. The United States and the taxpayer money should be spent in furtherance of our foreign policy, should be spent in places and on things that further our foreign policy. And even that is not unlimited. We have a limited amount of money that we can dedicate to foreign aid and humanitarian assistance, and that has to be applied in a way that furthers our national interest. And that's what we have sought to do as well." Let's move on to Trump's rally in North Carolina. President Trump traveled to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, for a rally at Rocky Mount Event Center, the final event of his affordability tour for the year. This event also served as an early kickoff for the 2026 midterm elections, influencing North Carolina's competitive Senate race and a newly redrawn congressional district favoring Republicans. Trump's speech lasted over an hour, blending policy pitches with tangents, and featured an economic focus, a midterm election boost, and crowd interactions. Trump said during his speech that over 53,000 new jobs have been created in North Carolina under his administration, including 8,000 construction jobs, and more than 150,000 North Carolina residents have been lifted off of food stamps. This was Trump's second North Carolina visit in December 2025 and his strongest showing in the state, with the rally aligning with his America First push, emphasizing affordability to counter voter gloom despite economic claims. Now it's time for the noteworthy tidbits, which are brought to you today by Big Fork Brands. Let me tell you about them quick. Sometimes I get on a roll cleaning or gardening and I need a boost but don't have time for a meal. Big Fork Brands pork jerky is the perfect choice to keep my momentum, offering high-protein snacks for on-the-go energy boosts. Not only do they offer pork jerky, but they also make pork sticks, bacon sausage, bacon hot dogs, and burger and hot dog sauces. Products come in a variety of delicious flavors, including Thai green curry and maple and brown sugar for the meat options, and gangster and Chicago fire for the sauces. I personally think the original flavor of the pork jerky hits just right after tackling a big chore. It's a little salty and very flavorful. My discount code gives you 20% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit bigforkbrands.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. All right, let's get back to the tidbits. President Trump secured what's being called the largest healthcare affordability victory for patients in U.S. history, as 14 of the world's 17 largest pharmaceutical companies have agreed to drastically lower their prices in the United States, and Bristol-Myers Squibb announced they will provide Eliquis, their number one prescribed medicine, to Medicaid for free. A refining facility for rare earth and critical minerals is coming to Louisiana, with an $850 million investment, creating 200 new jobs, and over 700 jobs are coming to the state of Tennessee due to a South Korean metals manufacturer planning to invest more than $6.6 billion in new production facilities in the state. 6 more people have been charged in Minnesota after a Smalley building was raided, and the total amount of funds stolen by fraudsters is now around $9 billion. Governor Tim Walz is facing mass calls to resign as it's been discovered he closed an office that investigated fraud for years, and he now faces a congressional subpoena by the House Oversight Committee. President Trump approved disaster funding for Kansas, Montana, and the La Jolla Band of Luiseño Indians. Senator Cynthia Lummis is retiring from Congress, not running for re-election in 2026. President Trump said $1.3 billion worth of Trump Gold cards have already been purchased. Lastly, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik suspended her campaign for 2026 New York governor and will not be running for re-election to the U.S. House so that she can focus more on her family. That's all I have for today. I'll be back with another update soon. Until then, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and follow me on Instagram and X at Shades of Jade Pod. Thank you for listening and have a great day.